Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. I opened my eyes. The yellow light shining straight into my face made me squint. In front of me was an old wooden counter with strange items hanging from it, like faceless dolls, dull black beads, and broken mirrors. I was standing behind the counter. Outside, someone was passing by. I couldn't call them. I couldn't speak. I could only follow them with my eyes like a normal salesperson. My hands felt like they didn't belong to me, stiff and cold. I tried to lift my legs, but my whole body felt like it was stuck to the ground. A young girl wearing a long grey coat approached. Her eyes were sunken, her face pale like someone who hadn't slept for a long time. She looked straight at me, then at the items on the table, and pointed at the bone necklace. I don't know why I knew what to do, but my hand automatically took the necklace and placed it in her palm. At that moment, a series of memories flashed through my mind. I saw the image of her standing in front of the mirror, crying, seeing a man lying motionless on the floor, and seeing this necklace buried under the bed. Girl bowed her head and said thank you softly and left, and I felt a part of me being pulled out as if I had just exchanged with my own memories. I tried to scream and struggle, but still couldn't control my body. A soft laugh rang out behind the stall. I turned my head and saw a woman in a red shirt leaning against a pillar holding a paper, fanning gently as if nothing had happened. Starting to get used to it, she said, without looking at me, "Who am I? Where am I? Why am I here?" She still fans steadily. "When you step through the gate, you've entered a wordless contract. Everyone is either a customer or a seller. You chose the wrong direction, so you became a seller. Asked how to get out of this place. Getting out isn't easy. You have to pay your debt." First I asked what debt to pay. She stood up and walked around the stall. Each step she took made a small bell ringing like glass colliding. "Debt from the times you left, despite the others of the times when he lived and forgot that he was human. He had many things to sell to redeem what he had lost." Silently looked at the items on the table. Each one had a normal appearance but contained something very dark. Each item. I felt the sadness and regret that did not belong to me but was now weighing on my shoulders. Darkness around the market was thicker than everything. As if it was shrinking, the lights became bright red, the footsteps echoed steadily from afar, and then a group of people wearing white masks appeared, walking towards me. They did not say anything, just stopped in front of the stall and reached out to choose the items. One person chose an old notebook, another person chose a torn handkerchief, and the last person chose a broken nail. I felt dizzy every time I brought out an item. The image appeared in my head like a rewind of a movie of painful, desperate stories, and even unwanted endings screamed in my head. This is not me. I am not the seller. I am Alex. I am the photographer. I do not belong here. The girl in red had disappeared, and instead, a large mirror was placed right in the middle of the stall. The mirror did not reflect me, but reflected the face of a child crying out for his mother, and behind it was a blazing fire. I stepped back, not daring to look anymore, but the mirror seemed to draw my eyes in. I saw other copies of myself in other stalls doing the same thing. They were all me, but no one really looked like me. Loud bell rang at 2 a.m. Everything around shook. The stalls began to fade, and the shadows of people also disappeared, sat down on the ground. For the first time, I felt like I was melting, like I was no longer myself. But then, a voice rang out, "To still have a chance. If you find the object that is attached to your real memories, you can escape." I looked around the stall. Everything was unfamiliar except for one object, my old camera. which was lying in the corner of the stall, covered in dust, but the lens was still intact. Quickly grabbed it, and at that moment, everything around exploded into millions of white light fragments that shot out like a silent explosion, and I found myself free-falling into a completely new place. In front of me was another wooden door, smaller and older, and this time there was no red lantern, just a hand-carved inscription: "The exit only opened when you really wanted to. Levi gently pushed the door open. Watch Episode 4 to find out what awaits Alex behind the mysterious door, and whether he really escaped the night market that only opens at 1 a.m. or just stepped into another scarier level. I stood up to call them back, but my throat couldn't make a sound. I realized I was standing behind the stall. I had become part of a night market that only opened at 1 a.m. Watch Episode 3 to find out what happened to Alex and whether he could escape his new role in this mysterious market.